Hey there, this is Pam Perry, Pam Perry Picks, right at the top of the month, marching into March here. And we're going to be doing our Amazon Live as well as YouTube and Facebook a little bit as well. So we're going to bring up our guest right after this, Dara Nichole Walker. So back in the screen there. There you go. Too much going on. So we are now streaming live on Facebook as well as Amazon Live. Let me just double check that as well to the folks out at Amazon. Yes, I see you guys. All right. Thank you for sending the stars and the hearts. So we're going to be talking today about this particular book. It's brand new. Super Cities Detroit. Yes, this is a homegrown Detroit woman here that we've got with us today, Dara Nichole. But this is not her first book. And she's written other books as well, and she'll talk about those as well. But this one here is the one that we're going to be talking about today, Super Cities Detroit. It launched middle February, but we're marching into March with it now because she's been so busy doing all of the things. So I want her to tell you how she got the book deal. All right, because it's a national deal. And then all of the things where she's been featured just recently within the last month. It's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind, I'm sure. So with that, I bring up Dara. Hey!
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So you were also in Speakers Magazine.
Yes.
So for the month of February. So you kind of see this a little bit. So it's probably appropriate that I read maybe a little bit of the bio here. She's a children's book author and owner of Beautiful Works Publishing. So for those of you who are interested in doing children's books, this is the person you need to talk to. Darylynn's critically acclaimed children's series, Madison Miles and Friends, has been wowing little girls since 2017. Daralynn found her love for writing and reading at an early age. After reading the majority of the books in the children's section growing up, she realized there weren't many books with Black main characters. So she decided that to change that with Madison Miles and Friends. She attended CMA, Communication Media Arts School in Detroit, and went on to pursue her bachelor's degree in communications and theater and a minor in marketing. And while in college, she was very active and volunteered with various youth organizations, including the King Chavez Parks Recreation. And she did a lot of the Black Student Union things. And then she also is really a passion to move the needle, really about the community in terms of being a driving force. And that's been a passion for hers for many years. So this particular book, it's not the book, it's actually the mock, right? Is actually her new book, Super Cities Detroit, was released last month. And it really coincides with Black History Month, even though the book is not a Black history book, but it does include history. Well, Black history is American history. And then Detroit is one of the ones that had a lot of she'll talk about like a lot of the landmark things, the Motown and things like that. And then really it talks about a lot of the hidden treasures and things like that. So Daralynn, how are you? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So one of the first things I want to say, so how did you get the book deal, first of all? Because you've been publishing books since 2017 and you really important for you to like you said, to show Black faces in the book. So how did the book deal come about for you?
Yeah, so actually I've been publishing since 2011. So I've done YA and children's books, but I was actually approached by Arcadia. They had seen some of the children's books that I had done, and they wanted.
So people who aren't familiar with the term YA, young adult, right?
Yes, young adult books.
That's the literary term. So young adult would be people, teenagers, I guess you would say, early middle school, teenagers, I guess you would say, up to about 20. So that name of that book was, because we had a picture of you with that book.
Yes, Called Out.
Called
and
Out.
I'm working on another young adult book as well. But
Okay.
yes.
Okay. That's it. That's
So
it.
they had seen a few of my Madison Miles books, and they knew that I was from Detroit. And they said, you know what? We saw your work, and we thought that this would be a great opportunity for you to be able to talk about your city. And I said, absolutely. You know, I'm a proud Detroiter. I was born and raised in Detroit, went to Detroit Public High School. And so to be able to have an opportunity to chronicle some of the amazing things, history, sites, people that are from Detroit, it was something that I was on board for. Absolutely.
Good, good. So this is why we picked you. One, because obviously I love the fact that you write the book about Detroit. So it's like a you said a graphic novel. So
Yes.
it's really for kids, but it can be for adults too. I think it's a great coffee table book for people who have you know, I guess you would say uh dentist office, doctor's office, anyone who wants to know more about Detroit, because you pick it up and it's find it so interesting. So
Hmm.
in the last 30 days or so, what are some of the things that have been happening with this book that maybe surprised you, or things that you want other authors to know, like in terms of promoting the book? What are the things they need to do, or things that you were happy that happened?
Yeah, no, definitely. When you talk about things that you need to do, really having a strategy once that book releases, but even before the book releases, having some type of strategy as far as marketing and PR and meeting with people and having conversations, because that's so important. Posting a book on Amazon or any site nowadays is just not the same as it used to be back in the day. So you really have to be proactive and be resourceful. And I always say start with your email list that
Yeah,
hopefully you've accumulated through your website, right? So
building
those
your
are the people
community.
yeah,
Mhm.
they're the ones that have been invested, right? So they signed up, they gave you their email address, they're hopefully opening your emails. So they'll be the first ones to kind of be connected and want to purchase your items. So that's something that I think is very important.
And
Um,
and also too, when you talk about before the book comes out, roughly planning it strategy wise, probably thinking about it at least 3 months before the book comes out, and then hitting the ground running about a month before it comes out, because you can't do all the things all the time. So
right.
you do need a little bit more time to plan it out. Because even if you say, okay, well, it's a month, but then maybe a magazine is they missed their deadline. Or if it's a television show and they said, well, we're all booked for the next 2 weeks. Okay. So it's like, okay, so what are we going to do? So, yeah, so that's really, really important. I want people to understand that about media coverage, especially when you've got to write the release. That takes time. You have to distribute the release. That takes time. So that's maybe 2 weeks right there. So I want people to understand that. And full disclosure, that's what I do. I actually do PR for books, and I love books. That's why I do Pan Perry's Picks just on Amazon, because books, I believe, can change lives. And people like Daralynn, who basically at a young age knew that she wanted to be a an author and make it her mission to change the way Black kids see themselves, basically, with Madison and Miles. So anyway, so go on, and tell us a little bit more. So what happened so far with the book? Where have you? Well, one of the things
Yes.
that's really exciting. I just thought you were on Visit Detroit. I thought that was so cool.
I did too. I did too. So visit Detroit, MetroTimes, Detroit Free Press, Channel 2, Channel 4. And so it was a great time because one, it was Black History Month. So I had
Mhm.
an opportunity to really be able to represent my culture and be able to talk about a lot of the aspects in the book that have to do with Black history, even though
Yeah,
Black history is American history, but really be able to bring that out, right?
yeah,
And now that it's Women's History Month, kind of creating a strategy around being a woman author and also the
mhm,
women who are in the books that I have,
yeah.
and talk about them and bring them to light as well.
Yeah, and it's really too, I think you said your school featured you, that your high school, your old high school featured you as well. And then
Hmm.
just really speaking and doing like book signing and things like that in Black bookstores is important, because it's
Hmm.
not a lot of them. And of course, we are on Amazon and people can buy them from Amazon, but just so that you can meet you face to face, sign the book is always just really, really good. I like the fact too that you use a lot of your and it's still not, I mean, the books has a long life. So
Mhm.
you used to work with the city of Detroit. So you still have friends over there, maybe in the arts and cultures department. You could do something with that. Obviously, our sports teams, you could do something with that, so it has legs. And then
Mhm.
also too, you have friends in the media as well. Your friend from MetroTimes,
Mhm.
there's friends that we have that definitely, make sure that, Charlene Mitchell, shout out to her for
Yes.
910
Yes.
Superstation, right? Super City, Superstation. So, so we want to make sure we say that. But it is really a community that builds a book. It's a community that builds a book, relationships that are you know, developed and sustained because we've known each other for a couple of decades or so.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, when Called Out, that's what I was like, I said, what was the name of that book? It was Called Out. And
Mhm.
so you just never know. And so we're on Facebook. People have seen the different things. You were in some of the print, the US Times, and
Mhm.
all those different things. So people will say, like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that. And
Mhm.
it's like, I've been working on this book for the last 6 weeks. No, you're just now seeing this book. It's just like, oh my God, because you've been living with it for a year, right?
Right.
How
Right.
long did it take for you to put all this information together for this book and to do it?
So you know what? It was kind of like a whirlwind. It took me about a year to kind of gather all of the information, which was actually kind of quick. I would think for a book of this magnitude because there was so much research that had to go into it as far as dates and times and places and making sure that it was historically accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But the team, they did a great job of, fact checking everything and making sure that it came out looking great. So I'm
I
super
am.
excited about it.
I
Yes.
know when
And
you.
I have your copy too, Pam.
Oh, good, good. Okay, all right, all right. Because one of the things too is like when you're doing all the research, and like you said, it took a year, so it's not like you did it a year and that's all you had to do. You're a mom of
Three.
3, a dog, a husband, a job. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's a lot for people to really understand. And then also too, talk a little bit about Madison and Miles because that's your baby as well. You've got a lot of things there that they bought the books, but then you also have the other products and things like that. So kind of explain the vision of your I guess you would say your writing career, what you see in the future and the products and even the YA books as well.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so funny because I remember us talking about Madison Miles in 2017. So to kind of see it come to fruition and have this conversation is kind of like full circle. But with Madison Miles and Friends, it's a children's book series, and it focuses on STEM. Each character represents a STEM component, so science, technology, engineering, and math, and they all do it in fun ways. So my math character, she does baking. So we're talking about quarters and, halves. And, my engineering girl, she loves space and science and stars. My technology girl, she loves to build drones. And my science girl, she loves makeup and making
Ah,
eyeshadows and lip glosses.
okay.
And it was so important for me because one, STEM is a male dominated field. So
Mhm,
you don't really see a lot of women in STEM. And sometimes it's not because we don't want to, it's because we don't know what is out there. So the
mhm.
exposure was very important to me. And then also, all of my characters are African American.
Mhm.
So that was also important because it's not an African American dominated field either.
No.
We have some superstars that are STEM, right? But how do we get more people into that field? How do we get more girls? How do we get more people of color into that
Mhm.
space and really figuring out what they like in
Yeah,
that space?
that was good. So I'm not sure when the movie Hidden Figures came out. Was it before or after Madison and Miles?
It was after.
It was after, because
Mhm.
at that point, a lot of women were looking at those they were Hidden Figures. We didn't know that those women worked for NASA. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so that was really important too to really the whole movement of getting more women and more African Americans into the exposing them to what the STEM field would look like. So that's really,
Mhm.
really good. So when you are from the books, you did other products as well. You did backpacks and tell us
Yes.
about that as well. And the website.
Yes.
Tell us the website too. You just
Yes, so my website is madisonmilesandfriends.com.
okay.
So it has all of the Madison Miles books on there, but excuse me, I've done journals, I've
Okay.
done backpacks, and then I also have curriculum that if you sign up for my mailing list, you'll get the curriculum like on a weekly basis, and it'll just be cool like worksheets, which I thought was fun. Like I said, I have children, and
Mhm.
so they need to be reading 30 minutes every day when they come home, and they need to do some type of activity before they get on their games or play outside or whatever. So
Mhm.
having a worksheet where it's like, okay, we're going to print this out, you're going to read for 30 minutes, do this crossword or do these story problems, that helps
Yeah.
because when you're K through third, you're learning to read. But
Mhm.
then the end of third through the rest of your life, you're reading to learn. So
Ah,
it's so important at that beginning stage that they are really learning, well, reading as often as they can because it helps them develop.
so you like reading, you like books. What does your mom do for a living?
She's a librarian.
So you get it naturally for sure, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love books. I mean, you would think my mother was a librarian, as many books as I have around here. But yeah, that is so true. I like when you said that between third through eighth grade, they're doing this, and then after that, you're reading to learn. So that's
Mhm.
really, really important. So I want to ask this because we're on Amazon Live. Love
Mhm.
Amazon Live. Are any of the products as well? I know the books are, but are any of the products on Amazon Live?
They are not. They're exclusively on the Madison Miles and Friends website. I really want to build community there,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
products, so journals, backpacks, t-shirts, curriculum from the website.
Okay. All right. So Amazon, I just want to put that in. She may investigate that a little bit more because we are on Amazon Live. One of the things of being an Amazon influencer is like it's just okay to talk about other things, but we want to make sure that they're on Amazon because it's like this whole Amazon Live thing, it's like an influence. So obviously they want people to talk about Amazon. So this
Absolutely.
this one is definitely sold on
Yes.
Amazon. And if you're not from Detroit, there are super cities for I think what 30 other cities.
So you
Yeah,
have Houston, Dallas, New
right.
Orleans. So they're
Mhm.
covering a lot of major cities
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
country.
and they're all graphic novels. So if you want
Mhm.
to, get all of the series, you can do that on Amazon, and you can get each particular cities that you want to visit, or cities that you have been to or lived in or whatever. So that's one of the main
Mhm.
things. Want people to know that they can do that as well.
Mhm.
So the other thing I want to talk to you about is your beautiful works publishing.
Yes.
So do you publish other people as well?
So I have. I've done a few other books. I've done one nonfiction book, and
Okay.
I've done a few children's books.
Ah,
And it's really a fun process, really helping someone bring their characters and their book to life. Um,
okay.
so I enjoy that part and the coaching part of it as well.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're doing the children's books, the illustrations, you're picking the illustrators or you use one particular illustrator? How is that process done? When someone comes to you say, I have a children's book I want to do, and it's like, do you have them use the same illustrator that you use for Madison and Miles? Or do you find them another illustrator? Because sometimes the illustrators kind of have a certain
Style.
look. Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
it's like you don't want them to look like your book. So what
Right.
how do you vet your illustrators in case someone wants to talk to you about being an illustrator and they want to work with you?
Absolutely. So what I usually do is after I meet with the client, I ask them about what their style is. I have a few vendors that I use, so I'll usually have those vendors do a mock-up of the main character, and I'll let the client pick which style they would like.
Okay.
Because even if it's my illustrator that I use from Madison Miles, the way that they draw that character may be totally different.
Okay.
So I want to give that client the freedom to be able to make their character who they want it to be.
Cool, cool. I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
then if someone has a manuscript that they would like to submit, or if they just want coaching, because you said you
Mhm.
did a nonfiction book too. So it's not just children's books. You can help people publish any type of book. So you did nonfiction as well because that's what you do,
Mhm.
any kind of book. So if someone were to, would they go through the Madison and Miles website or would they go through the Beautiful Works Publishing?
So they will go through the Madison Miles website. and then I would reach out to them and schedule a consultation, just to see if we would be a fit and what they're looking for. Sometimes
Okay.
people just need coaching, right? So they just need someone to say, like, okay, what's my next step? What do I need to do? And that's what a lot of people did for me.
Hmm.
And some people actually want someone else to do the book. They're like, here, take it, take my money, and just
Do
give
all
it back to me when you're
right.
done.
Yeah, put it
So,
up on Amazon, do all those things, do the ISBN, the Library of Congress, all those things. It is a lot. It's a lot of moving parts. It,
mhm.
it definitely takes more so than the creative part, but also a good project manager to make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, because more than proofreading it, it's just the whole process. And then there's the marketing piece, right? That's a whole
Yes.
other thing that is like fun. Do you recommend people doing book trailers?
So I think book trailers are nice. I also think hiring a professional public relations or marketing person is a great investment. The beautiful thing about books is that you can, market your book forever, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
wrote Madison Miles in
Can.
2016 and I'm still marketing and selling it now.
Yes.
But to be successful and effective, you need a strategy, and
Mhm.
having a PR partnership is so important because it helps you flesh out.
The ideas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that we were talking about was the PBS, and just making sure that they are aware of your series and your vision and that kind of thing, so that they can, it was one particular show, I believe, that we were looking at, that
Mm-hmm.
it may not happen within 30 days, but eventually it'll happen over time. And so
Right.
just having a strategy, or, certain times of the year, you were saying March is, we were saying that March is literacy, reading
Reading.
literacy,
Yes.
reading literacy month. So knowing the different months when you can push the book again, even though it came out in February. So obviously we're capitalizing on Black History Month. Women's Month is January. Then also, so you want to have a strategy. So you lay out a year strategy, and then okay, then keep adding. What are you going to promote during that quarter?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't go to people all the time and say, buy my book, buy my book. I mean, it's like,
Right.
okay, give them some little bit of relevancy of news around it. So that's really
Right.
like the whole part of really putting a PR plan together. And
Absolutely.
I remember Michelle McKinney Hammond, she said, she said this, and she says Michelle McKinney has written like 100 books or whatever, and they're all like Christian based books for Christian women. And she says, writing the book is really like about 10% of the process.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what? She says 90% of it is marketing it. She says, I'm sure there's probably other books out there better than mine. She says, but I put a lot of time and effort in the marketing and the branding of this book so that
Mm-hmm.
people can know about it. I mean, your book can be great, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to be a bestseller. So yeah, so
Yeah.
that's really, really important, everybody. And then the other thing that I would like people to know is that Amazon in itself is its own little community or ecosystem. So making sure you're building out your Amazon properties. You have an
Yep.
Amazon authors page and listing all your books there, and
Mm-hmm.
putting a full bio. And if you have a blog, running your blog through Amazon. If you have a book trailer, having that on the page so that the videos can play. I mean, there's just other things too. Obviously, getting reviews and testimonials, that's important too. Asking people to go to Amazon and leave you a 5-star review, because if you do that, what happens is the people who reviewed your book and the other books that they read that are similar, they'll recommend it. So Amazon could be selling for you and you're not even pushing it. It's because you put a lot of information and uh, put a lot of attention to your Amazon page or the ecosystem in Amazon, so it can sell for you. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're buying a book and then it says, "Oh, also you may like."
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'll one click, I'll get that one too. I'll get that one too. But that only happens by reviews. So if
Yes.
you don't have reviews, they're not going to know you may also like, because they don't know who liked it, right?
Yes.
Because anybody to leave no review. So yeah, so that's really, really good. So what's next for you? What is next for Dara Nichole?
Yes, so I am doing another Madison Miles and Friends book, so that'll be out by the end of the year.
Okay.
And then I'm working on another YA young adult novel. So hopefully that'll be out by the end of next year. And I'm working on a picture book. So I'm very busy right now, but I'm very excited to, kind of step into really marketing and pushing the books that I have, and really talking about them more often. So
Good. So this is the book that we're talking about today, Super Cities Detroit. But she also has the Madison Miles books as well. Those are really, really cute. There they are. Yep, those are the ones as well. So Madison Miles, and it's sim based as well. And also to know that Dara Nichole does book coaching. She can help you publish. So all things literary, she really is about it. And so just have a conversation with you and see if you're interested. And you says, I really like to do a children's book, even if you don't have to do a series, you can do one. And then just see how it goes, because from one book you can actually do a lot of different products. Like she has the backpacks and the curriculum. That's just such a great idea. I love it. I love it. So that is good. And then the kids, you have the 3 kids. I'm sure they're like, okay, so I know they're probably going to grow up to be little authors and writers as well, So we're kind of like schooling them. It's like, yeah, you got all these books and everything. So I always say that the best authors were first the best readers. So if you're reading or consuming a lot of books, then eventually you are going to write, because you can put it in your own words. So I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Dara Nichole. This has been really, really good. So I'm excited for you. You can read about her too, also in Speakers Magazine. This was the Black History issue, was February. Go to speakersmagazine.com. You can get it, read about her there. She's also available to speak. That's why she's in Speakers Magazine. So she can speak about writing. She can speak about children's books in particular. She can speak about the issues that she writes about in the book. So anyway, so it's a lot of stuff. So then where can they find you? Where do you hang out most on social media?
So I'm on Instagram at MadisonMilesandFriends.com, or at Madison Miles and Friends, and then on Facebook at Madison Miles and Friends also. Okay. And then my website, MadisonMilesandFriends.com.
I love it. I love it. All righty. Well, this has been good. I'm Pam Perry, and I am out. Thank you for letting me promote the book. Very, very good book. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It really was really good.
Thank you.
All right. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Pam Perry, really giving you a PR pep talk. How to get publicity. What can it do for you? Why do you need it? What's it do? How much it costs? I'm going to answer those questions in a sec. So what can quick media coverage do? It can help you increase your visibility online, extend your reach, stand out from the crowd, higher ranking on Google so you can get found. SEO is important. That's what PR can do for you, for sure. So when you're ready, go to PamPerryPR.com. Love for you to get out there and get known, get in all of the media that you see on the website, PamPerryPR.com. Take a pic of the packages for the PR on PamPerryPR.com. All righty. We'll see you there.